Hello and welcome to the Uncensored match build-up show. It's Crystal Palace versus Liverpool on Monday night. We're in the temporary set and I am joined by John Machin and returning after a bloody long time.
A bloody long time.
Lewis Calvert.
Hello.
I've just got onto your t-shirt.
This old thing, this old plug here. Yeah,
How's the magazine going?
We launch on Monday and we have got, it's a boxing magazine that it encompasses all kinds. So it talks about football's relationship with boxing, wrestling's relationship with boxing. If you want to go and pre-order it, I've done a coupon for 20% off. It's Redmen TV. So go to bigrighthoook.co.uk, add it to your cart, put Redmen TV in and you get 20% off.
There you go, it's that easy. But we are here for the Uncensored match build-up show. We are going to talk about Crystal Palace. John, first and foremost then, Palace on a Monday night, it's a tough game, isn't it?
It's always tough for us at Palace, isn't it? And they get a great atmosphere there and a night game this early in the season after they've won their first game of the season. I was with a Palace fan over the weekend and he was absolutely elated that they'd won their first game of the season. It gets your season off to a really good start.
It does, yeah. You know, obviously, Lewis, they beat Fulham by 2-0 and Fulham looked a little bit disjointed, but Palace sort of carried on where they've been going since Hodgson's been in charge. You know, it's going to be an interesting one for Liverpool. Obviously, we've got Hodgson, Martin Kelly, who didn't make the first team last time out. Saka, who Klopp obviously got rid of, and then you've got Benteke as well.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a few players out there and a manager out there who want to prove a point against this Liverpool side.
Definitely. But you also have to remember they were not good enough to stay at Liverpool. That's the reason that they're at Crystal Palace. So the likes of Saka, you can see Firmino just sitting him down, putting it through his legs. Benteke, he can win a header, but we've got Van Dijk there, so we've covered that. Martin Kelly barely gets a second, let alone a minute. And Roy Hodgson, we know what his football is kind of like. It is very defensive. They've got a counter-attack, they've got an outlet, we know that with Wilfried Zaha, but he's no Mo Salah, mate, so bring them on, I say.
It's true. I must admit, like, I was looking at the Palace game and obviously I watched it on Match of the Day, and that left-hand side for them is quite frightening, to be honest with you. Van Aanholt, you've got Schlupp over there as well, and Wilfried Zaha. Yeah. When you're coming up against the likes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joe Gomez at the right-hand side of our defence, or what we expect will be them, this could be a very difficult game for Liverpool, especially when you consider the success West Ham had with Felipe Anderson over on that side.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I don't see us spending a lot of time defending. You know, I don't think Hodgson will commit himself at all to giving us any space at all. He'll sit back, I would reckon, try and deny Salah and Mane anywhere to run. And he'll then, as has been said, he'll hit us on the break. So I don't really see us coming under a lot of pressure. I mean, I think the ball's going to go long and, they're going to try and break out fast using Zaha. And if we can control him, I mean, I've looked at some stats on him, and he's apparently last season when he didn't play, they didn't win, basically.
Yeah. But I think conversely, if he started, they didn't lose, did they?
Exactly, they didn't lose, and they score like 1.5 goals a game when he's in, and only like 0.8 or something when he's not in. So he's the key to the whole game, really. If we can stop him, then we've stopped Palace, and it's then a question of whether we can break them down.
I think it's fair to say, Lewis, Crystal Palace probably played with a 4-4-2 last game out against Fulham. Do you expect them to do that, or do you think John's right, they'll probably try and keep it a little bit tighter, obviously not try and concede early from Liverpool's attack, and maybe play it as more of a 4-5-1 or something like that?
It's definitely looking more a 4-5-1, but as you say, that threat down their left wing, I'd want someone like Henderson or Milner, a bit of energy to chase these people down. I think we can cope with it, but that's only if they get out. You would imagine Benteke, the ball will stick to him and you'll have to double up on the headers, so maybe if it's Hendo in front and Van Dijk behind. But he's a clever player. He's going to pull out to Trent, he'll pull out to Joe Gomez. Can they deal with that? I don't know. I think if Palace sit back in their own half, we'll outnumber any long ball, and we've got the pace to chase back and get the ball. So, I don't know. I'm with John. I do think they'll sit back far too deep. There'll be 5 in the midfield. It's just whether our 3 can kind of, pierce through. I'm interested to see how Naby Keita does and how we do that on our own left-hand side, because when we've got the ball, we really need to crack a defence like this, which we struggled at the start of last season, but we got off to a flyer. So
That's it. I think the performance, obviously, John, from Liverpool against West Ham United was top draw, wasn't it? But I think Crystal Palace are a much better side and a much better drilled side. Obviously, they've had the manager in for a bit longer than West Ham have. But really, the key to this game is making sure that we can get our guys in between the lines. are talented footballers like the likes of Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, maybe breaking beyond the line and just getting them into the penalty area and trying to see what we can
It's
create.
interesting. I mean, I think that I don't know if he was their man of the match because obviously didn't see the whole thing, but the guy who got the most attention was their new right back, the young
Wan-Bissaka, is
kid.
it, or something like that?
Yeah, he's got a funny name and a double barrel name.
Wan-Bissaka.
That's it. I can never remember it, but he apparently had a really good game and kept Sessegnon quiet. So it'll be interesting to see if he can keep Mane quiet as well. And I think that's, if they can stop us with our A game, which is basically about our pace and our skill, then, as we've said in the last couple of weeks, it's going to be, have we got a plan B? As Sturridge and Shaqiri, are we going to be relying on them towards the end of the game, getting stuck into their defenders?
And I think,
and we've got that now. We didn't have that last year.
I think that's right. I think, the addition of Shaqiri obviously is going to be fruitful for Liverpool, I think, as the season goes on. I think, we don't quite know where he's going to be starting yet, when he comes on, if it's going to be in the 10 or is he going to be a backup for Mo Salah. But there was shoots during the off-season, during the pre-season, of him coming into that 10 and really looking dangerous on the ball, driving at defenders, which is something that, I thought we might miss this season with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain going down. But equally, that performance from Naby Keita last week was so impressive that you can only see that getting better and better. I mean, we did the Stats and Tactics show this week, Lewis, and we spent a large proportion of the show looking at Naby Keita. One of the things that it was evident to me was he looks like he's played with Robertson and Mane for months, a year or two. I mean, the understanding between our left-hand side after only one game, 90 minutes of Premier League football, was absolutely outstanding.
I think with Keita, he kind of plays on the fact that a lot of midfielders will make a safer pass and go back to the defence or look for that, and then he'll jockey an attacker and he starts an attack the way Lallana would let it roll to his legs. He just does a little dummy, and it's his weight of pass that I like. It's never behind Robertson. It's always he put like a little outside footed ball and he'll give it to Mane.
Well, that one you're talking about, he basically said to Robertson, cross the ball.
Yeah, put it in and we'll score. And that was brilliant. So that's nice to see. With regards to Shaqiri, I do think, I think he's going to, he put Lallana in midfield in the past. He took Oxlade, who was kind of right wing for Arsenal, and put them in the centre. I think he could put Shaqiri, not in the Keita role, but where Coutinho played. He
almost like a 4-2-3-1
yeah, so
type of...
Klopp, if Hendo and whoever want to stay back, Shaqiri's got free rein really to pass the ball, to shoot, to run with it. I think he could play him a little bit deeper, not just as cover for Salah. So I think that would be an interesting one. If at 70 minutes it's still maybe 0-0 or even 1-0, if we want to put the attack on a little bit more, we've got someone who's really comfortable on the ball and can run with it, and bags of energy. So
another thing that we noticed at the weekend against West Ham, John, was this, Liverpool really stretching the play out. I think West Ham wanted to keep it nice and compact. We put our fullbacks really high, really wide. Equally, at times Salah and Mane were able to do that. You'd imagine Crystal Palace will want it in exactly the same way. They want to keep it compact, and it's about Liverpool spreading that play out and waiting for those runs from the likes of Keita.
It's key, isn't it? If you're going to try and break down a packed defence, you've got to stretch it as wide as possible to give you more room, and hopefully get on some, people overlapping and, a few 1-2s past defenders. We have the skill to do that, which we've lacked in the past. So we're better equipped to break those people down. But going back to Shaqiri, I agree. I think it's probably his best game is going to be when he's got a bit of a free rein behind forwards. And he also in pre-season looked brilliant when he actually got in the box and used strength against defenders to hold the ball up.
Yeah, especially with those calf muscles, man.
Yeah. So I think he's a great option on the bench,
What about the midfield then? Do you think, Lewis, that there'll be rotation this early on in the season, or do you think, obviously Henderson's probably in line for a start, but Wijnaldum played that 6 really well against West Ham, was massively impressive. Can you see Klopp changing it up or staying the same?
I actually can, solely for the fact that he had faith in Hendo last season. He played him in that 6 over Emre Can, who wanted that, and we have to deal with the height of Benteke, so I do think that it'll be Henderson and Van Dijk doubling up. You lose a bit of height with Wijnaldum, but even in pre-season, Wijnaldum's been playing well. He's been getting goals. To have the debate, I'm grateful for, because years gone by we haven't been able to say who should get in. Personally, for me, I put Hendo in there straight away over Wijnaldum, but do we need a bit of industry from Wijnaldum or Millie?
The beauty is you don't know, do you?
I think it's a great. I think we want the best option, but even if we pick the wrong player, it's still a really good option. So I don't think that's a worry really. That's just down to Klopp's judgment.
Okay, well, it feels like a good time to move on to the preferred 11s, but before we do, I had James Pearce in earlier on today on the Newsroom podcast, so here's a little clip from that, a little bit of insight from James into why Grujic hasn't moved to Cardiff City.
I think the big thing was that Liverpool were adamant that he needed to sign a new contract before he went to Cardiff. And, as it stands at the moment, he's not been willing to sign that contract extension. I think you can kind of see it from his point of view in terms of obviously, he's probably at that stage where he's thinking, have I really got a long-term future at the club? Obviously, Liverpool have paid big money this summer for Bino and Keita. And obviously, if you do commit yourself for another 3 or 4 years, then, you're kind of, the club are obviously kind of, for Liverpool, it's great because it ensures that if he does move on, they get a bigger fee. But he probably, from his point of view, he probably thinks, well, if I sign a contract extension without any real guarantees about where I fit in going forward, it kind of probably lessens his attraction to other clubs who, if his contract is running down, would be more willing to take him on. So I think at the moment it's just a case of him waiting and seeing what else comes up. I spoke to him a couple of times on the pre-season tour in America, and I think it feels as if that he proved in the second half of last season that he can command a regular starting spot at a decent level. Obviously, helped Cardiff win promotion to the Premier League. But yeah, I got the impression I don't think it was just the contract situation. I think, I don't think he was particularly enamoured at the prospect of playing for Warnock again as well. But yeah, certainly because the contract extension still remains unsigned, Liverpool certainly haven't been in a rush to loan him out. Similar in a way to the Harry Wilson situation, because obviously, he'd been linked with a number of loans, and he only ended up going out once he'd signed that extension because, obviously Liverpool are trying to protect the kind of the value of their talented young players.
So yeah, really, really interesting show. We talk about Simon Mignolet as well, and we talk about the Mo Salah witch hunt. It's obviously available for redmentv.com subscribers. £5 a month, first month is free. If you're on the fence, now's a great time to go over and subscribe because we've got a full 26-minute Jurgen Klopp interview. Paul did out in the States with him. It's just as relevant now as it was on the day that it was filmed. So really go over there, check it out. It really is fantastic. John, we'll come on to you for the preferred 11s first. We're doing it slightly differently again. No whiteboards this week. So we're going to ask you to remember your sides. I think I've probably got the worst chance of this because I wrote mine the longest ago. But let's go through your preferred 11.
Okay, Alisson in goal. Bit controversial, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No Karius.
I've gone no Karius. No. I've gone for Klein at right back.
Okay. Simply
because I think Trent got a game last week because he hasn't had a game really. He's had no real pre-season, and although, I think he's also got better distribution than Klein. Klein had a good pre-season, but you can't just then let him stagnate. I think you've got to get him in and give him a game. I've then gone for Gomez, obviously, because he's the only other fit centre-back with Van Dijk. Although I'd really like to see him given a month or so to see if he can cement a place.
Got
Robertson at left back. Midfield, Henderson, partly because I think he's our captain and we should get him in. I like his energy and his passing, but also again because he needs to get games. He hasn't had any. We need to get him on the pitch. We're still in a sort of pre-season for the first month or so, I think. And I've got James Milner because of his energy, and he was probably our best player the other day. And Keita because he's going to play every game because he's brilliant.
And front three.
And then the front three is the front three.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I think the difference between John's side and yours is quite minimal. I think you've gone for Trent at right back.
Yep.
What's your midfield three like?
So the midfield three would be Keita on the left, Hendo, Deep Lion and Milner. I just think we need that industry, we need that energy just to tackle. A lot of people stand off Zaha and let him do his little step overs and things. Milner won't stand for that. He will fly right through and put him into the first row. So get Milner in. And I think with Trent, there is that debate there. I kind of think that Klein's a top 4 right back. He's probably better than Trent, but you got to stick with form and show the faith that we had in Trent last season. He's not match sharp in the sense that his distribution was a little bit off against West Ham. He skied a couple of crosses, but I mean the free kick was brilliant. That nearly went top bin. So I think,
and he's the guy who plays the ball into Naby Keita's feet.
Yeah, what a pass. That split like 2 lines. So yeah, I think Klein doesn't gamble enough for me with the ball. He's safe as anything, and I'd say Zaha wouldn't get past them all game. But we've got to think offensively against these teams. Similarly, Henderson. I don't think he should be that tired. He didn't play in the third round, like the third round playoff, and you've got Pogba doing 90 minutes when he played in the final, and yeah, he's just done the business for Manchester United. So I don't see any reason why Hendo couldn't just come straight in. And you know what? If he gets a bit tired, we can sub someone on.
Yeah, I know.
I do think he needs games, to be honest. You've got to get him on the pitch.
I think I've gone for the same midfield 3 as you guys. I've gone Hendo deep lying, Milner on the right, Keita on the left-hand side. I want to see that relationship continue to evolve down that left-hand side with Keita, with Robbo and with Mane. The reason that I've picked Hendo is very similar to yours, actually, Lewis, and I'm thinking back to almost the second leg against Manchester City in the Champions League final, where Henderson was so good at rolling over and protecting Trent when Sane was running at him. I imagine that's going to be the way that we do it as well. So I want to see Henderson go over there, help Trent Alexander-Arnold out. James Milner exactly the same. He'll be over there if anything does happen down that left-hand side. And for me, I've gone with Trent simply because I like what he offers us going forward. I'd be totally comfortable having Klein in at right back. I think he's a terrific footballer. And I agree with your point, actually, not considerate about keeping him fit.
I do think that over the course of the season, Trent is going to have that position to lose. I just still wonder whether, Klopp will be trying to get people on the pitch and keeping them ticking over. That's the only reason I've gone for Klein, not tactically or anything else. I do think Trent's distribution is so much better. Yeah, and he is the future, definitely.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Okay, well, we'll come on to score predictions then and we'll wrap it up. Lewis, let's go first, mate.
3-0.
3-0.
Yeah, I thought we banged 4 past West Ham and we wasn't even sharp and we were still making chances that we didn't put away. And I remember Milner crossing the ball in, Salah missed it, Firmino did, and Mane did. And then Keita just keeps the ball in. And I can see us doing that again. I know they're a bit more well-drilled, but we're going to be a little bit sharper. We've got the weekend, because it's on a Monday night. Klopp loves training. When Klopp has enough time to train, we do well. So 3-0, we'll keep it tight. I don't see them bothering us any.
Okay, John, you were right last week with a 4-0 prediction.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 this week because I do think it'll be tough to break them down. So, but I don't think they'll score.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I think it might be 2-1 again. Obviously, we've not got Calvert to pop up with a last-minute winner this time, unfortunately, because of his little hamstring issue that he's got. But I think it will be difficult for Liverpool. I think, for me, and I'm sure you guys would agree with this, it's about winning. And good sides win when they're not playing at the best and they play in tough situations. Palace on a Monday night for me is one of the hardest games on the football calendar. That ground, as you mentioned at the top of the show, John, is just absolutely rocking on a night game. It's going to be a very, very difficult test for Liverpool. Roy Hodgson is going to...
We've got a terrible history going there. We've had some horrible defeats there.
Yeah, that 3-3 draw. Obviously, that was a bank holiday Monday, wasn't it? And that stadium was something else. And again, I was talking to James earlier on. If you listen to the show on the redmentv.com, then he was talking about how that ground almost shakes when they get into it.
Well, that's why I think keeping Zaha as quiet is the key, because if he gets running, he's going to buzz that crowd up. Yeah. They're just going to go wild if he's attacking us. Whereas if we can keep him quiet, we can dampen them down. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, well, if you've enjoyed the show, don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to Redmen TV on YouTube. Don't forget to check out Big Right Hook, Lewis's brand new magazine launching on Monday. We saw an earlier version of this as a digital magazine. It was absolutely fantastic. The art, everything that you've put into it. It's a real hard slog, I'd imagine, but obviously it's a passion project.
Yeah, well, it started out out and we done 12 months back to back, and it's more like we talk about wider issues. So we talk about like the mental health of a fighter, and we've got a platform there to give new writers a chance and let them express themselves creatively. So there's as much artwork that goes into it as there is like people's like emotions and stuff. And one of the things we do with the magazine is we try and promote good causes. So our core readership is like young lads between 18 and 35. So we promote like seeking help for male suicide, and we promote autism awareness. So that's another thing that we do. So we try and, you know, use our platform to do something good, as well as talk about, you know, wider issues that at the core of it is boxing. But, you know, it encompasses a lot more than just that.
Okay, so go over there, check Big Right Hook out. We'll put a link in the description as well, and support Lewis on this project. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ta-ra.